This video is dedicated to Christian Roberts. Christian, thank you. Arahbo Roar of the World and Kaheera the Orphanguard versus Merieke Jhoira Berit. Merieke Jhoira Berit, I don't know how you say it. We've got both of our colours there, so we shall keep that. Good to have a cavern against an Esper player as well. Opponent leads off with a swamp, so we will lead off with a cat tribal land and go for Lone Lion. And a Mishra's Factory now, so still a ways off of making their Esper colours. Hopefully our opponent isn't going to struggle getting into their colours, because we're a pretty fast deck here, so we can get things going quite quickly. In fact, the faster we win, the better. Buffing our Lone Lion up to a 2-3 with the Forest, and it's about to get buffed even more with our Commander. Now they can animate their land if they want to, but they'll obviously go down a land. So I dare say they're going to take a hit for 5 here. And with that, I think... How is this worded when it dies? Return it to the battlefield as an aura. An enchanted creature, yeah, it's board white's worried about at the moment. So let's go for Fleecemane Lion. And then they've got 2 threats to worry about. They might have spot removal in hand. Evil Presence now. The enchanted land is a swamp, so that takes us off of our white mana. But our opponent is a couple of colours off of all of their colours as well. So if we can get ourselves into a white mana, we wouldn't mind. We'll go for Tectonic Edge. If they make a coloured land and it's non-basic, we can always blast it with the Tech Edge. Apparently going after lands is free game in this particular matchup. Put the buff on Lone Lion again, and we will swing in with both. There we are, one step closer. And there is a Nevinrel's Disc, so it is perhaps worth holding on to Heroic Intervention for that. They will blow up their own Evil Presence and give us back white mana for a Bronze-Eyed Lion or a Leonin Elder. So yeah, I think we just carry on wailing on our opponent and hold up the Heroic Intervention. Okay, a Wasteland as well. Might as well play it. Then it's same old story. Buff our Lone Lion, turn everything sideways. And then we've likely got a win with Berserk next turn, which we can only cast before the combat damage step. The target creature gets trample and plus X to its power, where X is its power, but we have to sack it at the end. So we've got them next turn if they can't do anything about our creatures here. There we go, they get into all their colours, looks as though they top deck those. And now trying to blow up all the lands, we'll just take ourselves into Heroic Intervention and see if they've got counter magic for that. And apparently not, so all that would have happened there is they would have given us our white land back, and we would have gone in for, well, let's see what we would have drawn next turn. Okay, so we get another dual land there, so could have gone for Bronze-Hide Lion there, and during combat gone for Berserk, and that would have beaten out our opponent, I think. Yeah, just one creature would have had 10 power, so that definitely would have got them. Another fast one in the Cat's aggro build, so I say we get another one in. Alright, this time up against Jhoira Weatherlight Captain. Again, we've got both of our colours. It's a shame about the tap land, but we can get a second cat out next turn, so yeah, we will keep there. And what's the best of the cats we've got there? Wild Cattle is more damage once we've played the tap land, so we'll play a land first and then go for the Wild Cattle. Mishra's Workshop to start off with, that's frightening. I was going to say, here's hoping that they don't manage to get into the colours they need, but they've already got one. Followed by a Mana Vault, so 6 mana available to them in both Mishra's Workshop and the Mana Vault. Obviously they've got the Signet as well. This is only artifact mana, but still. Don't imagine Jhoira will be running too low on any artifacts. Let's see here then. Now that we've got the command tower, we can get a cat and a rancor out if we like. Or maybe we just go for a couple of cats. Well, either way, we're swinging in first to see if our opponent's got anything for us. So we'll just settle for 4 damage instead of the 5 that we would have done with the scattered groves. Let's drop the command tower. And we'll go for both the jungle lion and the sacred cat. And we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed that there's no board wipe. Something tells me that we're going to have to outrace our opponent this game. And there's the last piece of colour that they need. So they're going for a volcanic island. They can get their commander down and they'll have some mana left over for a 4 mana artifact if they need it. It is their commander that they go in for, Jhoira Weatherlight Captain. And then going for the 4 mana, so maybe they do have an artifact spell after all. 5 cards left in hand. Just going in for Kicked twice into an Everflowing Chalice. So that taps for 2 mana. And they tap it immediately for a Grim Monolith. Yeah, if our opponent doesn't beat us, then it's pretty damn good going by us. They've gotten 3 pieces of fast mana, as well as the rocks. Haven't seen any Cheerio type cards yet, though. They now have protection from spot removal. I don't think we're really worried about that. I think our plan currently is to just smash through our opponent as best we can. Ornithopter as well, being the first Cheerio card. Now there's a Penumbra Bobcat. We will play the only land that we've got. And it's a tap land that buffs this up to a 2/2. I think we just go Rancor here. And we'll try and gain ourselves a little bit of life. I'm thinking that we go in for our companion next turn, Kaheera the Orphanguard. That will give everything a nice buff. And then we'll go for a plus on Wild Cattle as well. I imagine they just trade the Ornithopter in against the Wild Cattle. But they might trade the Sacred Cat with their commander as well. I doubt it, but you never know. So we'll swing in here. And if they do decide to get rid of the Sacred Cat, we'll be able to put Rancor on something at the end of the turn, deciding not to block with anything. So they've obviously got plans for that Ornithopter. We will leave things be at that. 1 damage dealt to them off of the Mana Vault, and every point of damage is going to matter in this game thanks to all the fast mana, especially against an aggro build like this one. Just passing like that. They can't go for Cyclonic Rift because the 3 mana from here is only on artifacts, so they've got 3, 4 and 5. Maybe an Evacuate or something like that. I'm actually going to go in for the same attack again and try and get whatever combat trick they've got out of their hand. And then if we lose a little bit of, if we lose a few points of damage thanks to our Kaheera not coming in, then so be it. This time using their Ornithopter to block on the Wild Cattle. And then whatever trick they may or may not have, they're not going for it now anyway, so let's go for the Bobcat. And if they bounce everything or wipe everything at the end of the turn, then so be it. Okay, it's a mana drain they were holding up. Mana drain on a 3 mana creature isn't the worst. I'd rather lose that than the companion. But that 3 mana might help them. Although I think they've got enough mana, haven't they? Still losing life to the Mana Crypt. There it is. They did have it after all, a Cyclonic Rift, but they had to get into the mana with Mana Drain in order to cast it, so buying themselves a bit of time there, but going down to 3 cards in hand and deciding to swing in at us. So let's see here. Why don't we go for Gianni's Sunstriker, and we'll get the Jungle Lion back down as well. They are not failing to make land drops. They are now going in for something more expensive than you would expect to see from Jhoira. A Paradoxical Outcome. Return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to the owner's hands and draw a card for each return this way, which isn't as much of a downside as you would think with all the fast mana that they had. So let's see what they can do with this. Now have a Mox Amber. And they're drawing cards when they go for these artifact spells, don't forget. So it's a Thran Dynamo, which will cantrip again, followed by a Foundry Inspector, which will no doubt get them into some free artifacts. It'll at least make them cheaper. And there's a 1 mana Arcane Signet. Then an Izzet Signet as well, still at 10 cards in hand because all of these are cantripping more fast mana for them. Yeah, they've done a pretty good job getting into fast mana this game. I really don't see how we can win this one, but if we keep buffing our creatures and trampling through, then it's ours to, yeah, it's our opponents even, to lose. Alhamrit's Archive is double the card draw. I don't know how much life gain they'll have in a Jhoira deck. And even more card draw there in Vedalken Archmage, so every time they play an artifact they will draw 4 cards, 2 from the Archmage and 2 from Jhoira, thanks to the Alhamrit's Archive. Okay, we've got a Temple Garden which we will definitely shock in. Why don't we just try and land as much damage as we possibly can. Getting Kaheera the Orphanguard, and then Jungle Lion as well. And then Jungle Lion can take the Rancor because it's the most likely to die thanks to it having Rancor. Yeah, I'd rather keep the Ajani Sunstriker in place simply because it's a more useful creature. It can block and it has lifelink. So we will go like that onto the Sunstriker. Turn it into a 6/6. They'll have to double block that if they want rid of it. Deciding to block with the Vedalken Archmage, that's even less card draw for them next turn, so that's fine. They go down to 6. And they really need an explosive turn here, which I have no doubt they'll be able to achieve. We need Mana Crypt on our side, really. 2 Mana Crypts in a row ought to do it. There's 1, so they go down to 3. Do they untap the Mana Vault? Or do they fancy their odds of going off this turn? They do not, so they go down to 2. Little do they know, we've got Primal Rage in hand. They replay the Overflowing Chalice, kicking it 2 times again, and immediately tapping it for a couple of mana. That drew them a couple of cards, don't forget, as does the Sol Ring. I think they've got the full set of fast mana here, really, haven't they? Yeah, pretty much. Mana Crypt, Sol Ring, Mana Vault, and Grim Monolith. There's another piece in the Lotus Petal. And then it is Hercule's Recall, so going for the same again. I don't know if this is a Storm build or if they're just looking to draw a hell of a lot of cards. Don't forget that Jhoira cantrips whenever they play all their artifacts out again, so they've obviously gotten into all of their fast mana and they can just play it all out again and net mana. I'm assuming that they tapped everything down before they went for the recall there. They don't have their Alhamrit's Archive in play though, so they're not drawing twice as many cards as they would have done previously. Noteworthy that they did go for replaying the Mana Crypt though, so it might be that they fancy themselves getting into a win this turn. Foundry Inspector comes out again. Jhoira's familiar, so that's even more free spells for them. All of their artifacts will cost 2 less, which includes a free Grim Monolith and a free Mana Vault, 23 cards in hand, and an Ethereum Sculptor as well. Yeah, they've still got 53 cards in the library and they're getting into absolutely everything they need, all the cost reducers, all the fast mana. So maybe they're not getting into the win condition, who knows. There's the Archive again, as well as the Signet. So this looks to me like they're going to bounce the board again. Aetherflux Reservoir, there we go. So starting to gain a bunch of life, and I think that takes us away from a victory. Aetherflux Reservoir is going to be too difficult to outpace against a Jhoira deck like this. There we go, already jumping up to 36. So yeah, I think it's about time to scoop it here, but we'll wait for them to jump up to 50 life plus. There we go, so they should be able to take us out straight away there. There we go, so getting rid of us really quickly just speaks to the power of Jhoira. It wasn't quite a Cheerios build, but getting a bunch of cheap artifacts into play, and I mean, let's face it, getting into all of your fast mana and cost reducers is yeah, a surefire way to victory. None of you have ever seen a decent Jhoira list before, then there's one for you. Almost had them, knocked them down to 2 life, but not a whole lot we can do against Aetherflux Reservoir and all of that fast mana. But it was an interesting one anyway, so hopefully you all enjoyed it. Be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. I'm tribalkai, on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.